Kentucky basketball really needed a big-time win, and they got one in the form of a big blue blowout over the LSU Tigers.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I didn't hit the wrong hotkey. Let's not talk about it. What's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on tonight's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we are going to be recapping Kentucky basketball's 95-64 win over the LSU Tigers. A big blue blowout for Mark Pope and company, a much-needed victory for the Cats as they gained some momentum heading into the final game of the regular season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching live on YouTube, if you're listening to the postcast, I really appreciate you tuning in there. If you've not subscribed on YouTube or on the podcast feed, make sure you do so. Would love to have you. If you've not liked this video while we're here live, I would also really appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, will get to you guys as we continue to go along here, breaking down again Kentucky's 95-64 win over the LSU Tigers. And goodness gracious alive, this one was not close from the jump. LSU got to a 2-0 lead, and then Kentucky went on a 15-0 run, and that was kind of all she wrote. The biggest thing for me that I think is just wild coming out of this game is what the analytics say about Kentucky. I want to go ahead and get to this here because there's some big stuff developing on that front. So, Kentucky, heading into this game, was 18th on KenPom. They were 65th nationally in adjusted defensive efficiency. They were 6th nationally in offensive efficiency. Gentlemen, they are, as of right now, 58th in adjusted defensive efficiency. They climbed 7 spots after that victory, and they are now the 14th best team in the nation, according to KenPom. Absolutely incredible stuff. Sorry, I just had to make sure my live stream was actually going there for a second. I hope it is. Hey, if the stream is live, let me know in the chat. Holy cow. The analytics say some much more positive things than we could have ever hoped for, I think, coming out of this game for the Kentucky Wildcats. And they did it in a variety of ways, right? It wasn't just on the defensive end. They were able to get threes up, which Mark Pope has begged for Kentucky to find ways to get more shots up in different games. And ladies and gentlemen, they finally broke that 30-point barrier. They got up 32 threes tonight. They hit 12 of them, good for 37.5%. They only shot 27.8% in the second half, but it didn't really matter at that point. It was just kind of Kentucky fogging different things up, some bad shot selection, a couple of different threes there towards the end of the race where Kentucky just kind of was throwing stuff up because they were already up by 30-plus points. The Wildcats in this one did so many different things well. 90-plus% defensive rebounding percentage against a team that really does struggle to grab second-chance points. The only thing that I said LSU did well was the fact that they were able to, at various points this season, shoot a decent percentage inside the arc. Gentlemen, they sucked tonight at the rim. In the first half, they only shot 37.9%. They shot 44.8% from the game, from the floor. Ended up shooting, 27% from three. They went 6 of 14 in the second half, which really just shows you how bad they were in that first half shooting. Across the board, they turned the ball over. Kentucky had 16 turnovers in this game. They got 18 points off of said turnovers. They out-rebounded them. They out-rebounded them on the offensive glass. They had almost 20 more bench points. They had more points in the paint. They had 29 fast break points. They had more steals. They had 10 more assists. I mean, this was just an all-out whipping from the Kentucky Wildcats, and man, you needed this one, a feel-good win to send you into the Missouri game, and I could not be more happy with the way that the Cats performed tonight. Kind of let their foot off the gas there towards the end, but I mean, you were up by 35-ish points at that point. Who wouldn't? Various players that you need to be happy about tonight. I think we start here with Otega Oweh, who had 24 points, 9 of 11 from the floor, made all 6 of his free throws. Kentucky in this game, 11 of 11 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in 26 minutes of play. You also, I think, need to give props to Ainsley Almanor, who had 15 points, shot 6 of 7 in this game, 3 of 4. You notice what Kentucky and Mark Pope did with Almanor at various points as they made him a driver, and because of LSU's lack of physicality, Almanor was able to get downhill and finish every single time he wanted to, which was really interesting because that's not been his game at all this season. I'm curious to see, you see some, I guess, Jackson Robinson-ish tendencies out of Collin Chandler and Ainsley Almanor tonight. I'm curious to see if Kentucky tries to utilize them in his former role as we get deeper and deeper into the final part of the season. 15 points again. No other stat outside of a steal in 19 minutes. What was the spread for that game? Was it supposed to be that much of a blowout? The spread, when I looked at it earlier today, it was set at 12.5. Obviously, the SEC injury report came out like an hour before, so I don't know if that influenced what the final line was there on Vegas. I can actually go pull it up for you if you want. But yeah, it was not supposed to be that big of a blowout at all. And I think that Ken Pom had Kentucky winning. It closed at 12, believe it or not. It closed at 12. Zach says, we're live. Hope you go to a game next season, Lance. Really appreciate it. I'd love to. I would love to be able to go to Rupp. It's a shame that I missed it this season, but next season, there's no way I don't get up to a game in Lexington. Sean Cooper says they played a terrible LSU team. Seemed like they didn't even want to be there, but they do suck. And that's the thing. I texted my dad, actually, as the game was starting and Kentucky went on that run. I'm like, they look lifeless. This is the first time we have gone up against an opponent that just does not seem like they either can nor want to compete in this contest. And I don't want to crap too much on other conferences here, but I had to write this down. LSU, after this game, ranks 81st now in Ken Pom. That would rank 7th in the ACC. That would be the 7th best team in the ACC, and LSU is firmly, I think, the second to worst team in this league, right above South Carolina, who is currently 2-15 in conference play. Brody Akers says, wonder why LSU tried to steal the ball with like half a second left, kind of strange. So if you did not see it, Derek Fountain, who I'm sure was very butthurt after losing by 30-plus points, tried to steal the ball away from Collin Chandler as the game was winding down, like with literally like 2 seconds left. Did so successfully, and then went to go lay the ball up. We did not hear a whistle on the broadcast. We did not see because they cut away to the handshake before we could see if Fountain made the layup. And as it turns out, he did not. They ended the broadcast. They came back to the game and said, hold on. They called a foul with 0.2 seconds left on Collin Chandler, and Derek Fountain's going to get to shoot free throws. He missed the first, made the second. It would have been 63-95, but Fountain didn't obviously want it to end up being that. Zach says, what were Brea's numbers tonight? I missed the first half, but his shooting is underwhelming lately. I agree. I think that Kentucky needs to find ways to get him more open shots. And frankly, I think that whenever he is slightly open, I like him pulling. He's going to have a game here where he is confident and he steps into it and he's going to be shooting 50+%. He's going to have a Florida-like performance again before the season ends. At least I hope. I would expect it. But 6 points. He shot 2 of 7 from 3. He had a rebound, an assist, and a turnover, and that was it in 29 minutes of play. Of course, the defense there, you liked it from him, plus 32 and plus-minus box score. So he defensively tonight did some different things for Kentucky that you liked as well. So you want to see him continue to be better on the defensive end, but shooting the basketball tonight, or recently, like you mentioned, Zach, has not been great. Captain Crash 21 says, if we played Grant Derbyshire more, we'd have even better numbers. Best two-way player on the team, man. I could not agree more. He got his in this game. So he got what, 0.2 seconds in this contest. We'll continue to break this one down here. Kentucky victors over LSU 95-64, a blowout win for the Cats. Before we get to that, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over Supply House. You can get the supplies that you need from the site made for the skilled trades. It's Supply House, because whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from the top 400-plus brands, you'll find exactly what you need. delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. You can join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your order. Again, that is supplyhouse.com. All right, continuing along here on the Tuesday evening edition of Locked On Kentucky. Lance Dawe hanging out here with you. I really appreciate you guys checking out the show today. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast feed, I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. Please like the video if you're watching here over on YouTube, recapping Kentucky basketball's victory over LSU 95-64. Cats, according to the numbers, very much so needed that win, and they got rewarded because of it, a massive boost to their numbers. Now inside the top 60 on KenPom in adjusted defensive efficiency, 60, yeah, not 50, 60. They're now 58th. Gentlemen, I have said over and over and over and over the past, I would say, month and a half, 2 months. I've said it in the preseason, I know, quite a bit. But you need Kentucky to be inside the top 60 in adjusted defensive efficiency heading into the postseason, and you need them above 125-something on offense. They're at 125.3 right now on offense, 100.3 on defense. So on average, they are 25 points better than their opponent on offense. You have to be able to extend that as you get deeper and closer to the NCAA tournament. Why? Because you're going to go up against, more than likely in the first round, an opponent that frankly is going to be somewhere around there statistically. They're going to be an average team on KenPom or a slightly below average team. So if the analytics can line up to where they can say, hey, you're about 3/4 of a half better than the next closest team, meaning 25 points, right? You can be able to head into that game, matchups or not, knowing that statistically you can find some different advantages and hold the opponent off at the very least and find a way to eke out a win, if not blow them out entirely, depending on what the actual physical matchups are, right? And if you go cold, you've got essentially 15 minutes of basketball or 25-ish points to kind of figure stuff out before like an actual legitimate problem sets in where you've either lost a lead or et cetera. You get what I'm saying? Here with Kentucky right now, I think they are playing really good defense to close out the season, but they've also faced off against some easier quote-unquote opponents here that have kind of helped them statistically. South Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, LSU now. Missouri is absolutely no slouch, and I think they're going to give Kentucky problems on Saturday. But the fact that Kentucky is at least playing energetically, playing with a lot of momentum on that side of the ball, is something that you really do like to see. Johnny Bishop in the chat notes, Cam Carter is a good player. This is his last year. Love to see him in Kentucky blue and white. Cam Carter in this game was actually kind of held in check in the first half, but ended up shooting 4 of 6 from 3, had 14 points, 5 of 12 from the floor, also had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals in 30 minutes per game. Zach said the season has been a roller coaster ride. We won so many games as underdogs and lost as favorites. This game was the rare one that we won and we were expected to. Every single player got their time, and I could not be happier with the way that they performed. Logan Blair says, how do we keep the 3 seed? Do we just have to beat Missouri, or do we need a good SEC tournament? If you beat Missouri, it is certainly going to help your case for a 3 seed because it's a quad 1A win on the road relative to what would be the expected outcome in the SEC tournament, which would be a quad 1A win at a neutral site against Mississippi State. At least, right? I think that's correct. But yes, a win over Mizzou I think would definitely help your case very much so. But look, you could go one of two ways. You could lose to Mizzou and you could win a game or two in the SEC tournament. All you're looking for right now is to get above that 8 seed. If you can get to that second 7th seed to where you can face off against the second best team in the SEC tournament, maybe Tennessee, Florida. I wouldn't want to play Alabama, but yeah, if you can get Tennessee or Florida there in the what is essentially the third round of the SEC tournament, if you can win your first game, of course, that'd be great. And then if you win 2, I think you're solidifying that 3 seed, but you could do it either way. I think that Missouri would make it you would have a better chance of doing so, but to really solidify it, you got to do both, or just win the SEC tournament outright, which could get you up to, it couldn't get you up to a 2, I don't think, at this point. The basic Mech E points out the next talking point I wanted to get to here, and it's the Collin Chandler game. Ladies and gentlemen, Collin Chandler actually showed up in this game and contributed, played a lot of minutes, and got it done. Finished with 11 points in 18 minutes, 3 of 8 from the floor, but 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. I think he had a bad shot selection there towards the end. Don't know if he would have taken that one otherwise, but 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists there, and plus 8. And again, 18 minutes of play. You want to see, let me be clear, you want to see Collin Chandler get more minutes as the season winds down. He is significantly more reliable than Travis Perry is at shooting guard or combo guard. Travis Perry in this game, -3 in 9 minutes, 0 of 2 from the floor, got one of his shots blocked, 2 rebounds, an assist, a turnover. I think he should have gotten credited with 2, but they credit him with 1 here in the official box score. Look, Perry is a year or 2 away from becoming a guy that can rotate in and play impactful minutes on both ends of the floor in SEC competition against SEC competition. He is simply not physical or quick enough right now to withstand what different teams are going to throw at him. And defensively, he is the largest liability on this roster, full stop. But you have to kind of dip into your bench right now because of the injuries that you've had. But if you're going to, I think that Collin Chandler should be getting the minutes. I think it should be him and Trent Noah that should be getting the minutes there instead of Travis Perry. But Chandler, man, I thought he played great. And this could be the start of something special here towards the end of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. I think he's got it in him. We were waiting on the shooting to come around, and look, for you to go 3 of 6 from beyond the arc and just absolutely can a couple of deep 3-pointers was really impressive. I was stunned. And if he can keep stuff like this up and be confident and knock shots down, he is somebody that needs to be in the rotation moving forward. Abso-freaking-lutely. Brandon Garrison, I think, had a great game here. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, just 1 turnover, 3 steals, and a block, plus 19 in 21 minutes. Garrison, if he did not settle for that step-back 3 there at the very end of the game, he would have shot 50% in this game. And what are you supposed to do if Brandon Garrison is hitting threes? I tweeted that out, and I think it's a legitimate question. Because, look, he's a 60+% shooter inside. He can distribute the ball at a pretty decent rate. He showed he could do it at an incredible rate tonight, 4 assists to 1 turnover. And if he's shooting like he has, let's just say 33% from 3 on a given game, that's extremely hard to guard, especially when you start to consider what the 5-man does in Mark Pope's offense. Not only are they somebody that can step out and knock down threes, but also they can go and they can go and distribute as well. So you have to make a decision to where, look, if a kid's having a hot game and you look up and he's hit 3 threes and the first 25 minutes of the game and he's your 5-man, the opponent has to look up and say, okay, at some point we have to step out on this. And if you're going to do that, opens up a lot of things that could happen backdoor or driving, frankly, if Garrison can get better at handling the ball. So I think that Garrison here showed some versatility, showed why I think he would be a very valuable piece on next season's roster with some more development. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I thought he was great tonight. I thought Brea could have been better, but defensively he was good. Lamont Butler played 26 minutes. I think that was great for him. He was asking to take the shoulder wrap off before the game, finished with 5 points, hit a 3, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, plus 27. Good stuff. Good stuff from the team tonight, man. Just all around. Mechie says, I heard Zach Toe finishes the season with -1 plus-minus box score. I mean, that's about how it's going to end, right, for Toe. Logan says, has Ainsley Allman been playing way less, or is it just me? I feel like he was playing well, but he just hasn't been getting minutes recently. He had 19 minutes in this one, but yes, you're right. Up until this point, he hadn't really been contributing a ton for the Cats, and that's something that is going to have to change, frankly, I think, because of what you're getting into now without Jax out there, period. So I think he's going to have to play more, and look, if he has efficient outings like this, he's incredibly valuable off the bench. 502 Gutter Crew says, will Pope pull a Gordon Bombay and bring out the denim jerseys for blue collar boys and the rest of the season? Well, they had talked about doing something with jerseys, man, at some point, and they had said that they had taken photos or something like that for it, but they haven't worn them. I'm curious to see if they wear them in, like, the SEC tournament or they wear them in the NCAA tournament. I don't know if they will at all, but I'd like to see them at least try it once, you know? I think it would be cool to at least see them go at that at least one time. Let's see, is there a player here that I've not mentioned that I thought had a great game? Amari had 9 and 6, 9, 6, and 3 there in 19 minutes, 4 of 10, missed a couple of shots, but was super aggressive going to the rim, caught a couple of nice lobs. Zach immediately says here, Amari has become the driver of our team since conference play has started. He was good. I thought Carr was decent, missed a couple of point blanks, but missed a dunk early. That was which was weird. But 8 points, 6 rebounds, a block and a steal, plus 26 in 21 minutes. I mean, the starters here really showed out. It is crazy how much better the starters are from the bench as a whole. It is night and day. And it's a shame. If these guys could just be consistent and they could find ways to play better defense, I mean, next season, I have a lot of excitement and faith in what Mark Pope is going to be able to put together. And if they're able to stay healthy, I think putting together a deep rotation could end up being really, really, really big for UK. So, guys, I think that's going to go ahead and be it for tonight's episode of Locked On Kentucky. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. You can follow me on Twitter at Lance__, and you can follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. That is the wrong hotkey. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the YouTube comments below. Hit me on the socials. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and God bless.